Hey everyone, let's get ready for the Chapter 4 test by going through the Chapter 4 book review. So as soon as you have that ready, let's get going. Kendra has 4 necklaces, 7 bracelets, and 5 rings. Draw a model to show the ratio of rings to bracelets. I would say the biggest thing with these ratio questions, the most important thing is that you read it carefully. These can be the easiest questions if you read it carefully, but you can also get them completely wrong if you just kind of do your own thing. So for example, this says rings to bracelets. It says absolutely nothing about necklaces. So we don't need necklaces. We need rings. And when it says draw a model, you can draw it any way you'd like. You can use that for my rings. And bracelets, 7 bracelets. So I'm going to make 7 squares to represent bracelets. That's all you have to do. Okay, as long as you read carefully and know which 2 things you're drawing, you'll be fine. There are 3 girls and 2 boys taking swimming lessons. Write the ratio that compares the girls taking swimming lessons to the total number. Again, this can be very simple, or you can get it completely wrong. If you are just like, oh, 3 to 2, because you see 3 and 2, that's completely wrong. But if you read it carefully and you read that it's girls to the total, which is 5, then it becomes the correct answer. Luis adds 3 strawberries for every 2 blueberries to his fruit smoothie. Draw a model to show the ratio that compares strawberries to blueberries. Again, draw a model means just draw. So I'll do 3 triangles for strawberries, 2 blueberries, and there's 2 blueberries. So I'll do circles for blueberries. Honestly, as long as it's some type of something that shows a 3 to 2 relationship, you're good. Write the ratio of 3 to 10 in 2 different ways. Well, here's one way, right? 3 to 10. You could also write it 3 to 10, or the fraction way, 3 to 10. Pretty sweet, huh? Alex takes 3 steps every 5 feet he walks. As Alex continues walking, he takes more steps and walks a longer distance. Complete the table by writing 2 equivalent ratios. How do we create equivalent ratios? Well, we times the 2 different numbers by the same amount. So, if we times them both by 2, we'll get 6 to 10. Times them both by 3, we'll get 9 to 15, right? If we times by 10, we'll get 30 to 50. There are endless possibilities, endless possible ways to get that question correct. Sam has 3 green apples and 4 red apples. Like the ratio that compares the number of red apples to the total number of apples. There's lots of options here, right? So we're going to make sure we read carefully what it's asking for. Select the ratio that compares red apples to the total number of apples. So there are 4 red apples, and the total would be 3 plus 4 would be 3 to 7. Sorry, 4 to 7. And there are, when it says mark all that apply, make sure you go through all of them so that you're not missing one out. Jeff ran 2 miles in 12 minutes and Jushan ran 3 miles in 18 minutes. Did Jeff and Jushan run the same number of miles per minute? Complete the tables of equivalent ratios to support your answer. So if we times both of these by 2, maybe both of them by 3, both of them by 4, it look like this. If we did the same to the bottom here, be 6 to 36, and oops, boom, we're actually done. So we can say they ran at the same pace because if they both ran 6 miles, it would take both of them 36 minutes. Okay, so that's option 1, that you could prove to me that they are running at the same miles per minute. How else could you do that? Well, instead of getting it bigger, we could have simplified both of those and gotten 1 to 6. If we simplified that to simplest, that also would have been 1 to 6. So you could have also said, yes, they run the same miles per minute, because both of them, it takes 6 minutes to run 1 mile. Got it? Jen bought 2 notebooks for $10. Write the rate as a fraction, then find the unit rate. So 2 notebooks for $10. That will be 2 notebooks, $10. The unit rate to go from 2 notebooks to 1 notebook, I'm going to divide by 2, and that will give me $5 per notebook. That is the first unit rate of the test. Determine whether each ratio is equivalent to 1 to 2, 2 to 3, or 4 to 7. Write the ratio in the correct box. So 6 to 9, if I simplify this, it will give me 2 to 3. So that's going to go there. 4 to 8 I know is half, 1 to 2. 7 to 14 is also half, isn't it? 20 to 35, they're both multiples of 5. So if I simplify them by 5, that will give me 4/7. So I'm going to put that one right here. 40 to 80, if I get rid of the zeros, and then 4 to 8 I know is half. So no, 40 to 80 goes here. 8 to 14, they're both even. So I'll divide them both by 2 and get 4/7. 4 to 6, if I simplify that, it will be 2/3, and 8 to 12. But if I had both of those by 4, it will give me 2 to 3 as well. Okay, and there we go. On the test, I think one of these up here is not in simplest form. It's like there's an 8 to 12 up here. And it might be a little confusing when you have like a 6 to 9. That doesn't look like it's equivalent to 8 to 12, but they are equivalent because when you simplify them, they both go down to 2/3. So make sure you get these top ones in simplest form. Then it'll be easier to compare them. Amos bought 5 cantaloupe for $8. How many cantaloupe can you buy for $24? Ooh, I can tell that this is equivalent ratios. I'm going to put the money on top. So there's the 5 cantaloupes for $8. And we're still talking about cantaloupes. That's why we can make them equal. If I want to know how much I can buy for $24, I'm going to first see if I can find a relationship, which I can. We're spending 3 times the amount of money, so I'll get 3 times the amount of cantaloupe, won't I? So I will be able to get 15 cantaloupe. I made sure to spell that correctly. Totally cheated because I don't know if I could have spelled it correctly. 15 cantaloupes. Camille said 4/5 is equivalent to 24/30. Check her work by making a table of equivalent ratios. All right, so I can double them. Then I can triple them. Then I can quadruple them. Then I don't know what 5 times is. Times them by 5, times them by 6, and booyah, they are equivalent. Now, honestly, I probably could have just from the start been like, oh, look, I need to get to 24, so I'm going to times by 6. Well, then I need to times bottom by 6. Booyah, equivalent that way as well. Okay. A box of oat cereal costs $3.90 for 15 ounces. A box of rice cereal costs $3.30 for 11 ounces. Which box of cereal costs less per ounce? Use numbers and words. We've done a lot of these this chapter, haven't we? So if we want to figure out what the price, not for 15 ounces, but for 1 ounce, we're going to need to divide. And that will give us... I don't know. Let's find out. I want to say it's 4. Nope, it's 6. There we go. Okay, so I just found out that oat is 26 cents per ounce. I'm going to square that up so it's easy to find again. And box of rice cereal is $3.30 for 11 ounces. Ah, exactly. Now, I'm not going to say that that's 3 cents, am I? No, I'm going to realize that with money, we always have two numbers behind the decimal. So that is 30 cents per ounce. So which one costs less? Well, it's the 26 is less than the 30 cents. And the 26 cents per ounce was the oat cereal. Oops. Oat cereal costs less per ounce. Scotty earns $35 for babysitting for 5 hours. If Scotty charges the same rate, how many hours will it take him to earn $42? All right, well, that is a ratio. Those go together, don't they? $35 for 5 hours. And this is the same rate, so we can make them equivalent ratios. But now he wants to earn $42. What can he do there? Well, I see that this is the same as $7 for 1, right? This is a times by 7 relationship. So what can I times by 7 to get 42? It is 6. 6 hours. This next one, I will show you how to get full points because there's two things you have to do. 1, use the unit rate, and 2, find the value of the unknown. A lot of my students will just find the value of the unknown, but they won't find the unit rate. So I can't give them full points. So let's do this first. Let's find the unit rate. How do I get to 1? Well, I need to divide by 14. So 42 will go into 14 7 times? Oh, I am way off, aren't I? It didn't listen to me. How about 3 times? Oh, that's much better. Okay, so 3 times for 42. So this is the unit rate, so that gets you 1 point. Now, can you use that to find the unknown value? Oh, most definitely, because 3 to 9 is 3 times bigger. So the correct answer is 3. So I need to see both of those in order for you to get the full points. Jenna saves $3 for every $13 she earns. Vanessa saves $6 for every $6 she earns. Is Jenna's ratio of money saved to money earned equivalent to Vanessa's? All right, so Jenna is $3 for every 13. And then Vanessa is $6 for every 16. Are these equivalent? I'm going to show you a few ways, and then you choose whatever way you like best for the test. What I notice is Vanessa earns or saves twice as much. So if these are equivalent, then the bottom will also be twice as much. But 13 times 2 is 26, not 16. So if I do it that way, I'll say no, they are not equivalent. So that's option 1. Option 2 is remembering the cross multiplying trick. So 16 times 3 is 48. And then 13 times 6 is 108. So looking at it that way as well, they also are not equivalent that way. And then the final way I taught you was to simplify both of them to a unit rate. And that would show you as well. So if you wanted to, this is kind of yucky though, because 13, like if you did this, you could get 1 to something and 1 to something, but it won't be equivalent either. So you are going to say, no, they are not equivalent. Okay, as long as you explain, does it say to explain? No, it just says yes or no. Okay, well, there you go. The Hendersons are on their way to a national park. They are traveling at a rate of 40 miles per hour. There's that unit rate. Use the ordered pairs to graph the distance over time. So 40 miles in 1 minute or 1 hour, right? Okay, so there's 40 to 1, 80 to 2, 120 to 3, 160 to 4, 200 to 5. Now, graphing it means that you connect these dots. So that could be a very easy problem as long as you make sure that you connect those dots. Abby goes to the pool to swim laps. The graph shows how far Abby swam over time. Use equivalent ratios to find how far Abby swam in 7 minutes. Now all we have, it only goes up to 5 minutes, right? But what we can see right here is that the unit rate is 50 meters per 1 minute. And if I want to know how far she went in 7 minutes, then I could create some equivalent ratios, couldn't I? I could be like, oh, look, it's a times by 7 relationship. So if I did it that way, I could see, 350 meters in 7 minutes. You could also be like, oh, we're going 50 extra meters every minute, and then just keep adding 50 till you get to 7 minutes. Whatever works for you. Caleb bought six packs of pencils for $12. How much will he pay for 9 packs of pencils? Use numbers and words to explain your answer. Okay, I'm going to put money on top. $12 for 6 packs. And the question is, how much will he pay for 9 packs? I'm going to put 9 on the bottom because it matches up with my 6 packs. And I don't, I could get it down to a unit rate, couldn't I? $12 for 6 is the same thing as $2 for 1 pack. Or I could be like, guess what? It's 2 times more expensive. So then I would know that it would be 18. Okay, or if I do it the unit rate way, I could be like, oh, well, we need it times by 9. And again, I would get $18. And then I would explain how I did it. I could say, if I was explaining this one, I would say something like, well, the price is 2 times the number of packs that you get. So you'll need to times the number of packs by 2. If I explained it this way, if I solved it this way, then I would say, well, the unit rate is $2 per pack. If I'm getting 9 packs, then it's $2 times 9, which is 18. Okay, bar model, we are not doing this chapter, so you don't need to worry about that. So let's go to the last page. Maybe. There we go. A rabbit runs 35 miles per hour. Select the animals who run at a faster unit rate per hour than the rabbit. So 100 miles in 2 hours is the same as 50 miles in 1 hour. Miles per hour, right? So the reindeer is faster than the 35 miles per hour. Ostrich is 80 miles in 2 hours, which is 40 miles in 1 hour. That's faster. The zebra is 90 miles in 3 hours. If I find the unit rate of that, it will give me 30 miles per hour. So that is not faster than the rabbit. And a squirrel is 36 miles in 3 hours. Yeah, that's not faster than 35 miles an hour, isn't it? It takes him 3 hours to go about the same distance as it takes the rabbit for just 1 hour. You could still get that into a unit rate, and he's only going 12 miles per hour. So definitely not squirrel. You're not very fast. A water is filling a bathtub at a rate of 3 gallons per minute. Complete the table of equivalent ratios for the first 5 minutes. So if it's 3 gallons in 1 minute, that means it'll double that in 2 minutes, and triple that in 3 minutes, and quadruple that in 4 minutes, and in 5 minutes it will have gone 15 gallons in 5 minutes. Emily says that there will be 36 gallons after 12 minutes. Explain how Emily could have found her answer. So she is correct. How could she have done it? She could have done it a few ways, and you guys can explain it any way you'd like. You could have said, well, if you would continue with your table, you would eventually get to 36 gallons in 12 minutes. You could say, well, if the unit rate is 3 to 1, and I'm going to go all the way to 12 minutes, well, then I'm going to times by 12 and get 36 gallons in 12 minutes. Okay. There's a few other ways you could explain it. As long as you explain it so that I can understand what you did, then I'm going to accept it. All right, friends, that's basically the test. So go through these questions. Hopefully you were able to do them on your own and then just check with me. If you had to do them with me to remember how to do it, that's fine. I would just suggest taking and doing it again on your own in a little bit when it's not so fresh in your mind, covering up the answers and trying to do them again on your own. And then you'll be super prepared for the test. See you guys.